Hello and welcome to my channel where we may be dazed but we are not confused. We are going to be doing a New Horizons reading for the sign of Aries. We're going to be taking a look at where you are currently, what you're walking away from, what your hopes and fears are, as well as what you're heading into. So let's get into where you stand currently. All right, so it seems like the common theme that I've had with these readings so far is that, most people seem to be in a space of just trying to restore and replenish their energies, ground themselves, and, you're no exception. Like, you're showing up the same way. I feel like you've resolved yourself to really dig deep, to dig into who you are, figure out what it is that you're about, what you stand for, what you don't stand for. I feel like you're just trying to nurture yourself and create the space for this positive increase of abundance and positive things coming in that you know are coming, but you're making the space for that and you're preparing yourself to receive that. I feel like you're really trying to connect with your higher source and, listen to your intuition so that you can methodically move forward as opposed to just doing things based on what you think you're supposed to do because people told you that you're supposed to do it and this is what everybody else is doing, so I'm just going to go with the flow. I feel like you're getting away from that, the flow of kind of like the collective zeitgeist, and you're trying to get into the flow of your inner compass that's showing you where to go. And that's what you're really trying to hone in on and tune into. Okay. So let's look at what it is that you are walking away from. All right, so it looks like you're walking away from situations and possibly relationships because with the way this came out, it looks like you may have been in a situation where you felt that you needed to leave it, you needed to walk away from it, but you didn't want to sacrifice or get rid of it because you felt like it would put you into a state of suffering if you had to leave this situation behind. And so because you were excited, it made you feel like you were joyful. It made you feel as if you were happy, but I feel like there was a lot of sorrow and pain behind that, and what you saw as happiness was something that was more in your mind, like you made it that way, but the reality of it was very different. You may have even felt as if it made you feel like you were fortunate, and with this Queen of Wands here, it's like that's kind of like the hot woman, and it made you feel good about yourself. This could have been a relationship that made you feel wanted and desired and so on, but I feel like at the core there was something kind of rotten underneath and you knew it, but you didn't want to let go of it. Like, it wasn't the thing that was going to make you feel as if you're being the truest to yourself. All right. And so I feel like that's what you're leaving behind, is this idea that you have to stay in these situations. That you don't need to let go of it because you don't want to experience the feeling of loss that you have when you're letting these types of things go that are feeding your, getting that adrenaline going and all of that. But it's not really healthy for you. All right, so I feel like that's what you're kind of walking away from. So let's take a look at what your fears are as you are moving forward. All right, so I feel like several of the cards came out, with the Nine of Pentacles and also this Solitude card. I feel like you're afraid of being alone because even though you're walking away from, these situations that might have been very kind of codependent in nature, it's very difficult for you because you had a vision of how you wanted your life to be. And I really feel like what you had before, especially if this was a relationship, really fed into that. It was your ideal situation. It was the thing that made you feel happy. It made you feel as if you were ticking off all of the check boxes of what you felt like your life should look like or what you felt like a relationship should be. However, underneath that, it was this sense of not listening to what your soul was telling you about this. Like, am I really being fed here? Do I really feel nurtured here? Is this really the place that I need to be? And I feel like you were afraid to listen to that voice because it was saying a lot that and requiring a lot of you as a result of what was being said. And, I feel like you may have been afraid to, take that leap of faith and, show that courage to leave that behind because it was a genuine loss. I feel like after that, like you may be afraid of giving to others because you're afraid that you may not get back what you put into it, and you want to kind of like hold back on your energy. You're afraid that you're going to want to hold back and not pour into anything because you might lose it, or it might not pan out, or it may not work out. I feel like that could be a fear that you have moving forward as well. Okay, so let's take a look at what your hopes are moving forward. All right, so I feel like you're hoping that whatever you move into and whatever you do, that it's going to be something that's got some longevity to it. You're looking for something that's long lasting, and I feel like you're hoping that you're able to find the beauty in what it is that you're moving into. Whatever you come across, even if it's an obstacle, that you could see the beauty in that. And you're hoping for good things to happen. You're expecting the wondrous to emerge. You're expecting a miracle. You might have had some issues with funding and being concerned that you weren't going to have the money that you needed to support what it was that you wanted to do. But I see that like you're hoping that by following the guidance, that inner guidance that you hadn't listened to for so long, that these things will start to come together and you'll be able to look back on what you've grown and what you've built with a sense of pride and a sense of contentment. I think that's really important for you because that's what was missing, was a sense of being contented with what you had. Because even though what you walked away from, it gave you that sense of joy, like I don't feel like it was an authentic, I feel like it was just like a chemical burn reaction that, oh, this makes me feel whatever, but it's because it hits this, and this is what people tell me I should care about, and this is what the environment is reflecting back to me, but it's not what I actually want. And so I see you hoping that by, following your inner unicorn, that will allow you to invite the serendipity that you would like to experience in your life, and that's going to work for you. All right. So let's take a look at what is actually on the horizon. All right. So I feel like you're going to be, as you move forward, listening to that voice inside of you that's going to tell you what your truth is for you and what you need to do in order to be doing the work of whatever you need to do to be happy. All right. And I feel like there is going to be some work involved here. So you have your hopes of how you want things to come together. And we were kind of talking about that, how you're hoping that listening to that voice will help you manifest or bring forward the things that you want. But you are going to be doing a lot of work in the material to make that happen. And I feel like you're going to be getting the clarity that you need to come out of this energy of kind of being like left out, the fear that you had of being alone. I feel like you're going to be coming out of that. Like you're no longer going to feel like you've been left out in the cold or like isolated and alone. I feel like you're going to, by listening to that voice inside of you that's telling you what you want to do, that's going to actually help you find the life that you want, that's going to bring you that everlasting, more solid structures that you can kind of depend on to be there in a healthy way, not from a clinging, codependent way, to where your entire world will fall apart if it doesn't work. I feel like it's going to be a healthy foundation that's built upon you and you respecting who you are and what it is that you need in order to be fulfilled. And that when you build on top of that, now that you've got some clarity about what you need and how you want that to be, you are the artist and you can paint. You can take out your paints and make it look like what you want it to look like. And it'll be easier to sustain because it will be authentic to you. Okay. All right, Aries, that's what I have for you. I hope it was helpful. So thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.